we're starting a new annual tradition called the First Woman Award. The First Woman Award is given to a woman who has accomplished something noteworthy that was never achieved by any other woman before her. The first woman, through her courage, commitment, talent, passion, and persistence, made a difference in the quality of our world and is deserving of our recognition and our appreciation. The First Woman Award will always be given at M2W, the Marketing to Women conference, where women are always center stage. This year, Drucilla Dence, who is with Draftfcb in Chicago, will receive the inaugural First Woman Award on behalf of her godmother, Josephine Keating Swift, Jo Swift, and on behalf of the approximately 1,500 other women Air Force service pilots, the WASP, who served in World War II. Drew, would you please stand up so that everyone can see you? Drew has long been connected. Drew has long been connected to M2W, but it was only recently that I learned about her godmother, Jo Swift. Before I ask you to come up here, let me tell you a little bit about why we are honoring the WASP of World War II. It's going to take a little time, but it's worth knowing about these women because they were so long forgotten. Between 1942 and 1944, at the height of World War II, more than 1,000 women left home and jobs for the opportunity of a lifetime to become the first women in history to fly for the U.S. military. They volunteered as civilian pilots in an experimental Army Air Corps program to see if women could serve as pilots and relieve men for overseas duty. These women became the Women Air Force Service Pilots of World War II, better known as the WASP. Under the determined leadership of Jacqueline Cochran, Nancy Harkness Love, and General Henry Hap Arnold, the WASP exceeded all expectations. However, as we all know, all too well, everything with the advancement of women is hard won. So, not surprisingly, there was initially resistance about women becoming military pilots. However, the attack on Pearl Harbor brought U.S. Armed Forces into the war, and it soon became evident that there were just not enough male pilots. The WASP were required to have a pilot's license. They trained to fly the Army way by the U.S. Army Air Force. More than 25,000 women applied for WASP service, and only about 1,500 were accepted. After completing 4 months of military flight training, 1,078 of them earned their wings and became the first women to fly American military aircraft. Except for the fact that women were not training for combat, their course of instruction was essentially the same as for male aviation cadets. After training, the WASPs were stationed at 120 air bases across the United States, assuming numerous flight-related missions, relieving male pilots for combat duty. They flew 60 million miles of operational flights from aircraft factories to ports of embarkation and military training bases, towing targets for live anti-aircraft artillery practice and simulating strafing missions and transporting cargo. Almost every single type of aircraft flown by the U.S. Army Air Force during World War II was also flown at some point by women in these roles. 38 WASP flyers lost their lives while serving during the war, 11 in training and 27 on active duty. Because they were not considered considered to be in the military under the existing guidelines. A fallen WASP was sent home at family expense without traditional military honors or note of heritage. The Army would not even allow the U.S. flag to be draped over their coffins. All records of the WASP were classified and sealed for 35 years. So their contributions to the war effort were little known or accessible to historians until the GI Bill Improvement Act of 1977 granted the WASP for full military status for their service. On March 10, 2010, 200 surviving WASPs came to the U.S. Capitol to accept the Congressional Gold Medal from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other congressional leaders. When President Barack Obama signed the bill authorizing that Congressional Gold Medal, he said, quote, "The women Air Force service pilots courageously answered their country's call in a time of need while blazing a trail for the brave women who have given and continue to give so much in service to this nation since. Every American should be grateful for their service, and I am honored to sign this bill to finally give them some of the hard-earned recognition they deserve." We concur. Therefore, we chose to bestow this First Woman Award on the amazing women of World War II, the WASP pilots. Drew, would you come up here, please? We are humbled by the privilege of thanking your godmother, Jo Swift, and all the WASP of World War II. Please accept this award. Opening remarks, Jo Swift also contributed to the she of we by what she did. She and all WASP helped change the status of women in aviation and in military service in our time. The First Women Award will be on display in the rotunda here for the duration of the conference, and then it will be sent to Denton, Texas, where it will be added to the Texas Women University Library WASP historical collection, where these extraordinary first women are memorialized. As we end this lunch, I ask you all to applaud the WASP of World War II. When you go back to the theater, on the screen you'll see pictures of Jo Swift as she was as a young woman in her WASP uniform. By the way, the WASP also had to purchase their own uniforms. You will also see her most recently, I think she's 92 years old, and she went to Washington, D.C., and she's pictured there in some of the frames as well. And now I invite you all back into the theater for the second half of the first day of the 6th annual M2W